Monte Carlo in WealthTrace tells you the probability that you will never run out of money. Monte Carlo has been used for many years in various fields. The one that we are all probably most familiar with is a weather forecast. We almost take for granted what goes into a weather forecast that tells us there's a 10% chance of rain tomorrow. But behind the scenes, there are very powerful computers running Monte Carlo simulations, using hundreds of variables that impact the weather. These weather models are run using thousands of scenarios. The number of times it rains in these scenarios is then divided by the number of scenarios run. This gives us the probability that it will rain tomorrow. For financial planning, the analogy is this: what is the probability that I will never run out of money? In WealthTrace, we run 1,000 scenarios where the rates of return on all of your investments change in every year. We drill down into every holding that you own and look at the history of the asset class to see what its average rate of return, volatility, and correlation with your other assets has been. By doing it this way, we offer the most accurate Monte Carlo simulations that you can get because we are actually looking at every holding that you own. Using this information, WealthTrace is able to generate a distribution of investment returns, which allows the program to then generate a series of varying investment returns every year. When the Monte Carlo simulations are run, the program counts up how many times in these simulations you run out of money. You can then see the percent of the time that you never run out of money. So the best you can get is 100%. It's also important to point out that Monte Carlo simulations do not use your non-investment assets such as real estate unless you have entered a sale for them in the additional cash inflow section. So if you have $500,000 in equity in your home that you might use if things got really bad, Monte Carlo will not take this into account unless you enter it as a sale in the future. On the Monte Carlo screen, you can see all the different scenarios that are run. The blue line is the median value of your investments every year. You can see how distributed these different scenarios might be. The best case is at the top and the worst cases are down low. One example of a best case or very good scenario is that economic growth increases by a lot, which powers stock market returns higher for a long time. Worst case scenarios can be war, a Great Depression, or other terrible scenarios we might not want to think about. We also show you the probability of funding all your goals through time. You can see it's 100% until this couple gets older, then it drops. This is one way to look at your probability of success given certain life expectancies. You can also view the quartile values. In these quartile calculations, we take the average of how much money you have left at the end of your life expectancy. Quartile 1 is the worst 25% of the simulations run. Quartile 2 is the next 25%. The median is, of course, the median value of all the simulations. Quartile 3 is the next one up from there, and quartile 4 shows the best 25% of the simulations. This information is useful in determining how much volatility is in the Monte Carlo simulation results. For example, if the best 25% of the simulations showed an investment value at the end of the plan of, say, $10 million, and the worst 25% showed an investment value at the end of the plan of only $10,000, this is either an extremely volatile portfolio, a portfolio that is not diversified enough, or both. Just like on the home screen, the Monte Carlo screen has sliders. You can easily use these to generate quick scenarios to see how certain changes impact your overall Monte Carlo results. Monte Carlo is a very powerful calculation that takes into account your investment holdings, their historical rates of return, their historical volatility, and their historical correlations with other assets. It also takes into account all the other assumptions you entered into your plan, such as inflation, your different expenses, cash inflows, and all the taxes that occur every year. The Monte Carlo calculation wraps up all this information into one very important number, which is the probability of never running out of money.